Now here I'm going to talk about the diatomic atomic law worksheet. H2 is the law of definite proportion. So LMP is the abbreviation. Now the definition is the mass percentage of elements in a compound is fixed. What does that mean? Is like all the, like for example, for CO2, carbon is always 20%, oxygen is always 80%. There's no change of the carbon percentage and oxygen percentage in CO2. Okay, no matter where the CO2 comes from, the percentage of each element in the compound is always a fixed number. So how do I know that this is a law of definite proportion? If the question asks you to find the percentage by mass of the element, and also talk about fixed percentage of the element in a compound, then I know that this is law of definite proportion, meaning each percentage is definite, no change. It's a fixed number. Each element has their own percentage in the compound. Like for example, H2O, no matter where water you get it from, H is always has a fixed percentage, let's say 60%, and oxygen is always has a fixed percentage of 40%. Now the equation to find the percentage by mass of element X is the mass of element over total mass of the compound times 100%. It's always a percentage. Okay, so it looks like the mass, the equation looks a little complicated. But if I show you this example, then you will know what I'm talking about. So let's say I have totally 20 apples, 10 pears, and 30 oranges. I'm asking you, what's the percentage of apple? Then you will need to find out, you will need to put how many apple on the top, which is 20, how many total number of fruit. So I add up all the fruit together, 20 plus 10 plus 30, which is 60. So 20 over 60 times 100% will give me 33.33% percentage of the apple. So this is the same idea. Okay, I need to put down how many gram or how many of the element on the top, and then a total on the bottom by adding up everything together, and then times 100. Then I round it to 2 decimal places. So let's look up question 1. Right, the question 1, 53.0 gram sample contain 30.5 gram of oxygen and some nitrogen. What's the percentage of mass of the oxygen in the compound? Now here, if you read the question carefully, the 53 gram is actually the total mass, because it says a compound contain 13.5 gram of oxygen and nitrogen. So the 53.0 is the compound, is the total mass, and the oxygen is 13.5 gram. I don't need to know about nitrogen because it did not ask me the percentage of nitrogen, and plus I already know the total mass. So the percentage by mass of oxygen is mass of oxygen over total mass times 100%. So 13.5 gram over 53.0 gram multiplied by 100%, and then I round it to 2 places. Now question 2 is a little bit different. If you read the question, if 11.1 gram of hydrogen we add completely with 88.6 gram of oxygen to form hydrogen peroxide, what is the percent of the hydrogen in hydrogen peroxide? Now you notice that I do the little math here. Hydrogen and oxygen are my two reactants. If they add up together, they will form hydrogen peroxide. So the total mass is not 11.1 gram, it's not 88.6 gram, because 11.1 and 88.6, they are just the two reactant masses. What is my total mass of the reactant? Since you already know from page 1, hydrogen plus oxygen form hydrogen peroxide, and the reactant mass equal to product mass, and my product is hydrogen peroxide. You should be able to figure out the hydrogen peroxide mass. And question 3 is the same thing as before, but here we need to figure out the total mass of the compound, which is the same thing. I have to add the sulfur and the copper mass together to find out the total mass. Okay, the total mass is the reactant added together. And then finally, the total percentage is I have to add the 2 percentage, 33.57 and 66.43, to see if they add up to 100.00 percentage. This is a showing. So you have to actually put them in the calculator. If you did not get 100%, is your math wrong? So number 4 is the same thing, but here I get 3%. So you see that the 3% they should add up to 100. But again, your answer should be in decimal places, true decimal places. So all you need to do is just add up the 3 mass together to get the total mass. And then on the top will be mass of whatever the element, and then you times 100%, and then you round it to 2 places.